You may have watched in silence as the powers that be celebrated their triumph, convinced that their schemes would remain hidden, their injustices forever unchallenged. From the vantage of the world's stage, it seemed they had succeeded. Their narratives went uncontradicted, their deeds stayed buried, and the record bore only their version of the story. But in the vast expanse beyond what eyes can see, nothing ever truly vanishes. Heaven, the infinite witness, holds every moment, every motive, and every secret in its timeless embrace. When those who believed themselves untouchable reveled in the spoils of deception, they forgot that the cosmos keeps perfect score. Every slight, every betrayal, every cruel choice was etched into the ledger of the unseen. Like footprints on the surface of a river, their marks may have appeared temporary, but the currents beneath carried their truth to the heart of eternity. No amount of public acclaim or well-placed silence could erase the echoes of what was done when no one else was watching. This divine audit does not operate with human timelines. What feels like victory today can transform into reckoning tomorrow, or 1,000 tomorrows from now. Compassion and justice are woven together in that higher realm. For every shadow cast by wrongdoing, a ray of light waits to reveal it. And when that light shines, it does more than expose. It restores. It unravels the threads of falsehood, mends the tears inflicted on innocent hearts, and reweaves the tapestry of balance. To live in alignment with this truth is to release the fear that comes when you witness wrongdoing go unpunished. Trust that every act of integrity you undertake ripples outward, adding weight to the scales of cosmic justice. Even when you cannot see the outcome, know that your courage, your witness, and your refusal to look away are themselves instruments in the grand unfolding of truth. So take heart. Those who thought they'd gotten away with it have not slipped beyond the reach of what truly matters. Heaven has seen everything, and all that remains hidden will, in its own perfect time, be made whole again. Your faith in unseen justice is not naivety. It is the recognition that no victory built on cruelty can stand against the unyielding light of infinite awareness. You held your peace when they expected a storm. In the hush of your unspoken refusal to strike back, a far deeper power was set in motion, the silent thumb of heaven pressing down on the scale. Every scornful word aimed your way, every petty slight, was met with stillness rather than retort. And in that calm, the very ground beneath their schemes began to tremble. Imagine a vast courtroom where the loudest voices clamor for vengeance, while the judge remains impassive, unmoved by pleas or threats. Your silence became that impartial bench, unperturbed by the uproar around it. In choosing not to retaliate, you withdrew the fuel from their fire. Their taunts, deprived of the reaction they craved, lost their heat, and in that cooled ember's glow, the divine gaze sharpened its focus. You did not fight back, not out of fear, but out of a knowing that true justice does not need your arm to swing the gavel. Every time you bit your tongue instead of unleashing your ire, you were weaving a stronger net around those who sought to bind you. For in the quiet refusal to mirror their cruelty, you summoned a higher law, one that hears the softest cry of the oppressed and watches the hubris of the oppressor with unblinking eyes. The heavens do not respond to the clamor of war drums, but to the steady beat of a righteous heart. Your composure rang out like a clarion call to cosmic balance. I will not be drawn into your battle. I trust a greater hand to see what I cannot. And so, beneath the surface of earthly events, unseen wheels of reckoning began to turn. Now, as the field of divine judgment aligns, you may sense subtle shifts. Alliances fraying, misdeeds exposed, power slipping from those who wielded it carelessly. None of this required your sword, only your silent strength. For heaven's justice is not reactive but responsive to integrity. By refusing to retaliate, you became the catalyst for a purification that no human effort could have achieved. In that sacred quiet, you discovered your true might, not in the echo of your roar, but in the resonance of your restraint. Your silence was not absence. It was the still point around which the tumults of injustice unravel, and divine judgment finds its clearest voice. You watched them cast their seeds of malice into the soil of circumstance, each bitter word, each selfish act, each careless betrayal. They believed their harvest would be nothing more than fleeting advantage. Yet every gesture of energy, whether kind or cruel, is an investment that the universe faithfully compounds. What they sowed in anger and deceit now germinates beneath the surface, drawing strength from its own momentum, and soon the fruits will ripen, heavy with the interest of cosmic return. Imagine a hidden ledger where every action, no matter how small, is meticulously recorded. Their cruel intentions were like loans given without thought to repayment, now that debt is accruing daily. The sleepless nights of guilt, the erosion of trust, the isolation that follows those who build on the shaky ground of wrongdoing. Meanwhile, your own deeds of integrity, though they may have felt like quiet contributions, have been accruing goodwill, loyalty, and unseen blessings that blossom in perfect season. The laws of energy are impartial. A single negative impulse may seem insignificant at the moment, but like a snowball rolling downhill, it gathers power as it goes. Conversely, acts of generosity and compassion, though they may appear modest, radiate outward in widening circles, returning to you in ways both expected and sublime. Every kind thought you held when no one was watching, every act of patience in the face of provocation, every silent prayer for another's welfare, all of these are deposits in a vault of universal reciprocity. Now, as their choices come due, you'll witness the natural consequences unfold. Opportunities they once counted on slipping away, relationships they took for granted turning cold, the very energy they unleashed coming back not only to confront, but to transform. And in this unfolding you remain steady, a testament to the enduring power of right action. You needn't rejoice in their downfall, for their reckoning is simply the system doing what it must, balancing the scales with unwavering precision. Take solace in knowing that nothing is ever wasted. Every energy you emit, whether through word, deed, or intent, winds its way through the cosmic web and returns, multiplied by the nature of its source. You are both witness and beneficiary of this immutable principle. They sowed it, and now, in perfect justice and perfect timing, they will reap it, with interest. You stood firm in the eye of the storm, choosing integrity over compromise, compassion over retaliation, while others waded into murky waters, letting anger guide their actions, justifying harm with half-truths. You kept your hands clean. In that refusal to soil your own character, you forged an invisible armor. Restraint became your shield, and your unblemished heart became the beacon that outlasts any passing conflict. Imagine a clear pool untouched by debris. Even when the winds of provocation whip around it, the water remains pure, reflecting truth without distortion. Your choices were like that pool. Though slander, deceit, and hostility swirled around you, you let nothing muddy your spirit. You chose to pause before striking, to listen before condemning, to forgive before exacting revenge. Each act of restraint was a stone laid in the foundation of your unshakable sanctuary. This clean-handed stance carries profound power. When you refuse to answer cruelty with cruelty, you break the cycle of harm and deprive your adversaries of the reaction they seek. Their barbs lose their point when they find no wound to pierce. And as your calm steadies the field, a subtle realignment occurs. Old resentments lose their grip, conflicts dissolve into clarity, and even those who challenged you are compelled to reckon with the dignity you upheld. Moreover, your restraint protects you from the long-term costs of vengeance. Anger, once acted upon, leaves scars not only on its target, but also in the heart of the avenger, etching bitterness into memory, eroding empathy, and chaining you to the very negativity you sought to dispel. By keeping your hands clean, you spared yourself these hidden wounds, preserving the freedom of your spirit to move forward untethered. In every decision to hold your tongue, to choose grace over grievance, you sent a powerful message to the unseen forces that govern consequence. You will not be drawn into the drama of destruction. Your shield of restraint declares that you honor a higher law, one that rewards virtue, even when it seems silent, and recognizes that true victory lies not in defeating others, but in remaining whole yourself. So stand in this truth. Your restraint is no passive surrender. It is an active triumph. Your clean hands are not empty. They hold the promise of a future unburdened by the past. And in that promise, you find your greatest strength. You may feel compelled to take up the mantle of avenger, to chart your own course of retribution, convinced that only your hand can deliver true justice. But there exists a far older, wiser mechanism at work, one that never sleeps, never errs, and never forgets. Karma is not a lawsuit you must file, nor a sword you must wield. It is the self-regulating pulse of cause and effect, ever faithful to the ledger it maintains. Imagine a cosmic mail service with absolute accuracy, where every thought, word, and deed is stamped with its intent and dispatched to the rightful recipient. No address gets lost in the shuffle. Acts of cruelty sent into the world return unopened to their sender, while gestures of kindness find their way back, often multiplied. You need not track down the package or chase down the culprit. Karma already knows their address, and it delivers with unerring precision. When you resist the urge to intervene directly, when you let go of plots for revenge or schemes for correction, you free yourself from the endless pursuit of balance. Your energy is no longer tied up in tracking down every slight or measuring out every repayment. Instead, you trust the universal system to calibrate itself, confident that each seed sown will, in its perfect season, yield the fruit it deserves. This trust doesn't imply passivity or resignation. Rather, it is an act of profound empowerment. By stepping aside, you reclaim your focus for what truly matters, cultivating your own integrity, extending compassion where you can, and living with an open heart. The unseen machinery of karmic justice hums along without your meddling, ensuring that every debt is repaid, every ledger balanced, and every hidden truth revealed. So release the burden of being the world's enforcer. Let karma assume its rightful role, delivering each consequence directly to the one who set it in motion. In doing so, you preserve your own clarity and peace, allowing the timeless process of cause and effect to unfold exactly as it must. Trust that the system knows where to find them, and rest in the wisdom that what goes around always comes around. No help required. You may have felt their scorn like arrows in the daylight, snide comments, whispered jokes, mocking glances meant to shame you into silence. Yet with each laugh they let loose, an invisible timestamp was set, and a cosmic ledger quietly bookmarked their derision. Every jeer, every guffaw, every cutting remark became a receipt filed in the vault of heaven, guaranteeing that the moment of mockery would not vanish into the void, but would return, ripe with consequence, at its appointed hour. Imagine a grand celestial accounting room, where unseen clerks catalog each slight with precise detail: who spoke it, when, and to whom it was directed. No barb is too small, no ridicule too trivial. Their laughter, meant to belittle you, now serves as the signature on an invoice that cannot be ignored. And though you may stand today in the shadow of their amusement, the cosmic clock has already begun its steady tick toward balance. This truth does more than promise eventual recompense. It transforms your experience in the present. Rather than shrinking under the weight of their derision, you can stand tall, knowing that each laugh is not a wound, but a marker of their own future reckoning. Their mockery amplifies your integrity. It highlights the purity of your restraint and the strength of your refusal to retaliate in kind. In that contrast, the universe takes note. Meanwhile, you remain free to move forward, your spirit unentangled by the snares of bitterness. You do not need to keep score, to plot revenge, or to prove yourself in their eyes. The divine clock works impartially, without haste yet without pause, ensuring that when the appointed moment arrives, the invoice for every laugh will be presented with interest, sufficient to awaken their own conscience. So when you hear the echoes of their laughter, let it remind you not of your vulnerability, but of your protection. Each mockery is recorded, each receipt held in trust, and each tick of the clock draws closer to the day when heaven's balance will be restored. In the meantime, carry on with dignity, for the universe remembers what they say in jest, and its memory is infallible. You chose to unclench your fists when everyone expected you to fight back. In that moment of surrender, of releasing your claim to vengeance and loosening the grip of resentment, you did far more than demonstrate grace. You set in motion a force beyond any human scheme. By letting go, you unlock the mechanism of divine response, allowing the very energy of the cosmos to sweep through and recalibrate what had become warped by anger and hurt. Imagine a mighty dam holding back a river swollen with the debris of conflict. Your refusal to hold on to bitterness was like opening the sluice gates. The pent-up waters of cosmic justice rushed through, clearing away the sediment of past wrongs and carrying it downstream where it could be transformed. In the stillness of your release, you handed the reins of reckoning over to a wisdom far greater than your own, trusting that what you relinquished would be returned, refined, balanced, and purified in perfect time. This act of letting go is not passivity. It is an activation of a higher law. When you release the desire to control outcomes, you create space for unseen forces to work unhindered. The resentments you once held became the very keys that unlocked their consequences. Forgotten betrayals surfaced, hidden motives revealed, and the corrective currents of justice began to flow. All this occurred without a single word of accusation from you, without a drop of your blood spilled in reprisal, only the quiet authority of a heart that chose freedom over retaliation. In your release, you became the catalyst for transformation, not just of your own suffering, but of the whole tapestry of cause and effect. What you let go of, pain, anger, the urge to punish, returned not as weakness, but as the unfolding of perfect balance. Trust that every burden you lay down invites the universe to pick up the baton, carrying the song of justice forward until every note finds its resolution. Your strength lay not in holding fast, but in knowing when to let go, and in that knowing, you released a power no conflict could ever contain. You may think that time will soften their guilt, that the details of their betrayal will fade like footprints in the sand. Yet memory is not so merciful for the one who caused the wound. Every slight, every broken promise, every cruel word will replay in their mind like a relentless echo, serving as a mirror that reflects back the face of their own wrongdoing. Imagine standing before a polished glass where your reflection shifts with every passing thought. For them, the mirror will show not the person they intended to be, but the actions they enacted in moments of weakness or malice. At first, they may avert their eyes, seeking distraction in busyness or denial, but no matter how fast they run or how deep they bury the past, the image will resurface, in quiet solitude, in restless dreams, in those fleeting seconds when the mind drifts free of distraction. This mirrored memory does more than provoke remorse. It demands accountability. It forces them to confront the dissonance between who they are and who they intended themselves to be. Each recollection becomes an invitation to reckon, to make amends, or at least to acknowledge the harm they've caused. And if they resist, the memory only grows sharper, its edges cutting deeper until the truth can no longer be ignored. Meanwhile, your own journey moves forward unburdened by the need to remind them. You've released your own story from the script of vengeance, trusting that their inner mirror will reveal all that needs to be seen. In that reflective gaze, they will remember not only what they did to you, but who they allowed themselves to become, and the weight of that remembrance will be their path toward true reckoning. You've been taught to fear the word revenge, as if any return of energy to its rightful place must be violent or vindictive. Yet what unfolds here is neither retaliation nor malice. It is the restoration of equilibrium, the gentle unfolding of cosmic bookkeeping. You are not bearing witness to someone's downfall. You are witnessing the scales of justice righting themselves in perfect measure. Imagine a vast lake disturbed by a thrown stone. The ripples spread outward, then inevitably fold back upon themselves, settling the water once more into calm. No one hurled the rock back at the thrower. Nature simply obeyed its own laws. In the same way, what you see now is the universe responding to the initial impulse of imbalance, returning each force to its origin until harmony is restored. This return is clinical, impartial, and devoid of cruelty. It does not linger in triumph, nor does it delight in another's suffering. Instead, it honors the principle that every action carries its counterpart. Every departure from rightness invites a gentle guiding hand to steer it home. In this unfolding, you stand apart from the drama, neither architect nor avenger, but as a serene observer, grateful for the invisible forces that maintain the integrity of the whole. So when you see consequences ripen, remember, this is not vengeance. It is the universe's quiet promise that no energy is ever truly lost or misapplied. Every seed sown in imbalance must find its way back to balance, and every story of injustice must be met with the equal weight of return. In that grand choreography, you are neither instigator nor executioner. You are simply awake to the beautiful symmetry of cause and effect. You walk forward in light while they turn inward into their own reckoning. The ultimate court is not in streets or courts. It is held within the silent chambers of the soul. As you stand aligned with grace, abundance, and integrity, they are drawn into the inner tribunal where every hidden motive, every unspoken regret, and every shadowed desire is laid bare before their own conscience. Imagine a great hall of mirrors, each reflecting a different facet of one's being. For you, the mirrors glow with blessing. Each act of compassion, each moment of restraint, each breath of forgiveness amplifies your luminosity. You move through this hall unburdened, your reflection ever radiant, untouched by the distortions that plague those still entangled in judgment. Meanwhile, they are compelled to face the darker reflections, the pride that pushed them, the anger that drove them, the selfishness they once denied. This inner judgment is neither hurried nor harsh, it is inevitable. Their thoughts, once scattered in blame and denial, now circle back upon themselves, demanding honesty and transformation. Guilt may prick, shame may sting, but in that crucible of self-confrontation lies the seed of their awakening. As they reckon with the truths they tried to hide, they forge the possibility of redemption. And you? You remain anchored in blessing, your path unclouded by their turmoil. Your heart remains open, for you know that true compassion neither enables nor condemns. It simply holds space for growth. In the unfolding of their internal verdict, you rise ever higher, a testament to the power of integrity lived rather than enforced. While they face themselves, you stand blessed. Proof that the highest justice is not in judgment but in the quiet strength of the one who has already chosen love.